Well, hey guys, and welcome back to another week of the City Conservation Center. Hope you guys are all having a wonderful day so far. So, today we are continuing our little Siberian Amur area, and we're expanding that to our Dholes. So, I've been getting to work on these guys for quite some time, and I really am so satisfied with the habitat. Sorry about the music over there. Forgot my laptop wasn't on mute. I usually record on like 2 different computers at the same time. Really fun process over here. So of course we are working on the Dholes. These guys are found all over Asia. In case if you guys are unaware, the Dhole is a species of dog, or rather canid, from all across Asia. And some, I think it even kind of stretches into Eurasia a little bit. I'm not really sure. Should probably look that up relatively soon. So what I really wanted to do for their habitat was kind of like this defunct kind of Russian town. I really wanted it to feel like the Dholes have kind of taken over, and I really love like a lot of the effects I was able to do with, like, you know, making it feel a lot more dilapidated, making it feel a lot more interesting. So kind of making our way throughout here and working on this building back here. I wanted this nice kind of relatively long and short building, and a tall and kind of like not wide building. I don't really know what you would call that, I guess, but essentially we kind of work on that all throughout here. I think I do kind of change out the colors a little bit, or yeah, I think I do that right there. Unfortunately, it really wasn't working too well with the lighting angle over here. I really didn't give myself enough space. Okay, my dog wants to go out, so I'm just gonna put my headphones down. But yeah, I wasn't given enough space. This is the kind of professionalism you can expect from Lee. Come on, let's go. But yeah, I wasn't given enough space to really work with the habitat all that much how I wanted to, but we kind of make our way with that by really focusing on the actual habitat space itself and working on the natural foliage that kind of surrounds it. So that's essentially what I do over there, and what I really want to do is make sure it feels like it's kind of snowed in. Now, unfortunately, the City Conservation Center really isn't based in the most snowy region. I kind of wanted it to be somewhere around like Virginia, make it maybe like the Carolinas or something like that, kind of like lower, but not like further down than Georgia kind of area, because I really did want to incorporate a lot more warmer plants. And wow, that kind of hurt. This is just all totally professional over here, if you guys can't tell. But that's essentially what I really wanted to work on over here. So I kind of worked this fake snow in here. This was something I really was super excited to do. So obviously it's not as bright and as white as real snow, but I feel like I kind of gave that effect enough. So I work with the good old combination of the faux rocks, the moss panels, and actual snow pieces. And I think I do incorporate some other stuff in there as well to help it feel like it's a little bit more integrated into the actual build itself. And yeah, so I essentially took all this inspiration from this really awesome YouTube video. If you look up like defunct Russian town, ice cap, abandoned, some combination of those words, you should be able to find that video. It's really cool just to see like all the stuff that's happening in there. And that's kind of the vibe that I want to do for like the rest of this section. So I may do like a little bit of like a mining town, like mining operation, like very 50s, 60s industrial kind of area for Siberian tigers, which I want to get in here. And I'm also going to be building for the Himalayan brown bears as well. Really beautiful creature. Unfortunately, Frontier's version of it really isn't the best, so I'm going to be using a remaster for that. But making our way throughout here, I am working on that bigger building that I talked about before, relatively, you know, not that sizable, but that will act as our housing for the Dholes. So we will have a backstage yard right behind there, just in case if we need some off of show. So we also do include the door there as well for the keepers. I did receive a comment on the Amur tiger, oh my gosh, no, the Amur leopard video, that I should probably double door and do like a kind of like airlock system for my keepers. I will be doing that. In between my videos, I tend to do a lot of work that you guys don't really see. All that work really comprises of me doing tiny little finishing details that I don't really think you guys really need to sit through, if that makes sense. I do a lot of other work too, like some small little like getting stuff ready. Like, for example, before this video or another one, I went through all of Lion's signs. Lion, a really awesome creator for Planet Zoo as well. I use his modular sign set in every single one of my builds because it really is such a useful system. And by the way, please, guys, listen to me. It's okay to use blueprints. Listen, that is the whole reason why I'm as good of a builder as that I am. I'm not tapping myself on the back over here, I'm just speaking the truth. Being able to use blueprints, being able to learn how to use blueprints is one of the most key definable skills from Planet Zoo that I could possibly give to all of you guys. People pour their hearts and souls out on the workshop for you guys to download and use because they are putting in the time for you to actually go through and make something that looks just as beautiful, even quicker. And that's always what I say. That is why I put so much stuff out on the workshop. That's why I do those little collections. By the way, check out my Twitter for the link to my latest blueprint for the City Conservation Center. It has a lot of handy dandy little blueprints for you guys to use. That's why I do that for all of you guys, because it's just super important to manage your time well with Planet Zoo. And that's how you could get just these gorgeous looking habitats in half the time. So listen, always just try and use blueprints whenever you can. No human being should be being put through the ringer, really, to be doing that stuff from scratch if it's not already done before. Another important thing to know as well is to utilize blueprints and kind of manipulate them for your own purposes. Kind of like what I'm doing over here. I had this viewing gallery all set up for the Amur leopard so that I'm using it again over here to kind of retain the same style, retain the same vibe throughout this entire section. It's super important to do that, especially in a build like this, to really help define a key style and set up a key kind of I guess kind of vibe for the area. So that's always an important thing to keep in mind over there when you are working with stuff like that. When you are working with a area kind of like as unique and diverse as a zoo like this, always make sure that you have a key established vibe throughout every single area. Make sure you identify key colors, make sure you identify key pieces. A lot of the times in these builds, you will see me using like very much the same pieces, especially in the Amur section. I'm using a lot of corrugated metal, I'm using a lot of metal in general, and I'm using these beautiful overturned trees that I've kind of developed. Really awesome kind of just to use these for the purposes of kind of like setting up this vibe. Also throughout here, I'm starting to work on the landscape. So this is probably my favorite part of making habitats. It's really defining what the habitat will look like, making sure that you know exactly how it's going to behave for the animals. And of course, one of the things I always try and suggest to you guys is put the animal down first. I kind of made this habitat a little bit too big for Dholes, but I think that's going to be okay. Always make sure to put down the animal first, make sure that it's scaled properly for the animal so that you can get a little bit more of a realistic sense of how big it will be in there. And yeah, that's about it. So I am using my little signature mix of faux rock and real rock. Really do love the combo on that. Really do love like all the textures and different details that's happening with that. So I do my best to kind of make that work over there. And I do have running water going through this habitat. So I have this lead down to a waterfall down here. And you got a really nice open view of this kind of waterfall section down here. Especially from when you're going from the Dholes to the Amur leopards. You get this beautiful view where you get like this nice unobstructed view. Without like any glass in front of you, you just have that big old moat in between, and we are able to kind of cover that up with like deterrents for guests. So whenever you do work in areas like that, it's always recommended that you do put stuff down. Even if you have one fence there, that's more than likely not enough. You're always going to get some stupid guests in your zoos who will try and break the rules, and you always want to make sure that you have all the precautions in place. So you can have plants down there, so you could have like a nice beautiful planted garden that usually deters people from actually walking on areas they're not supposed to. You could have like wildflowers and stuff like that, even cactus. That's a really effective way of keeping people away. You can learn that from making a Minecraft base or something like that. But making your way throughout here, and I'm also starting to work on the foliage too. But you talk a little bit more about keeping guests away from those areas when we do get to like stuff like the bear and stuff like that. Kind of have some good ideas planned for that habitat so we can work with that when we actually do get there. But you can see I'm really loving these new plants. These are some of the best ones that we've gotten just yet. And it just is so effective at creating these beautiful, convincing landscapes that really goes such a long way with trying to make this area feel really beautiful. So I also work in some of those diamond leaf willow bushes. Just a couple of them, you know, I don't want to overdo that one because we haven't really been using it a lot. But I do want to make sure that it really stands out from the rest of the crowd. So I do incorporate just a couple of those just to help kind of give this area a little bit more of a pop. What I'm also doing over here is incorporating a lot of pine trees. Pine trees would be able to grow in a tropic, not really tropic, like more of a temperate environment down here. And that's something I really want to do, make it feel like a little bit more piney, have it feel a little bit more cold, and a little bit more like it's a wilderness in this area. I really want to make foliage my advantage in this area as well, so we're using pine trees, as well as a bunch of overgrown kind of plants throughout here, to really help it feel like you're in the kind of like Amur wilderness. Especially with the water over here, the Amur River is a really beautiful river if you actually do look up some pictures of it. It's a gorgeous landscape that I can't recommend you guys check out enough. I actually just made the silver carp mod with Buffsu, and it was just such a really awesome creature to work on. Especially because of its significance to the Amur region itself, both in China and Russia. So it's super awesome right over there. And I'm also working in some aquatic plants as well, mostly just the reeds, just to help give it a little bit more of a kind of concrete vibe down over there. And I'm also working on filling up that section down there with a little bit of faux rocks, and I do some plants later. But we're kind of entering our kind of like, you know, cinematics in just a bit. But this was such a very fun habitat to build. Really, really beautiful habitat to build as well. I feel like the Dholes are so underrepresented in Planet Zoo. And believe me, I went from not really liking them at first. I wasn't really satisfied with them during Southeast Asia pack. But now I am absolutely in love with them. I've been making them in every single one of my zoos, and they're just such a unique animal to work on. Of course, here we finally are in the cinematics. I cannot thank you guys enough for stopping by. You guys have shown such tremendous support to my videos over the past release, so it really is super awesome to not only have all my returning viewers, but also some really, really splendid, wonderful new ones as well. So I can't thank you guys enough for tuning in to yet another episode of the City Conservation Center. I can't wait to see you all in the next episode of it. Not really sure what we'll be tackling in that time. But moving on from there, thank you guys so much for watching. Enjoy the rest of the cinematics with the Dholes and the beautiful city in the background, and I can't wait to see you all in the next episode. Take care, and have the most wonderful of wonderful days. Bye-bye now.